Okay, we're going to convene the May 7th, 2019 public hearing. Could you please give roll call?
Commissioner O'Dorisio.
Present.
Commissioner Pinter.
Present.
Commissioner Tedesco.
Here.
Commissioner Hodge.
Here.
Commissioner Henry.
Here.
Would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Agenda is approved. We don't have any awards and presentations, so we'll move on to public comment. Erica, has anyone signed up to speak?
No.
Okay, at this time, is there anyone in the audience who did not sign up, but who would still like to speak to the commissioners? Seeing none, coming back to the commissioners. Commissioners, do we have elected official communications? Anyone up on the panel want to speak? All right, moving right along. We're moving on to, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. And a vote. And the consent calendar passes 4-1. Moving on to new business. Do we have county manager?
Good morning, Commissioners. The first item before you is a resolution approving an agreement between Adams County and EST Inc. for the York Street Phase 3, 58th Avenue and State Highway 224 professional engineering design services.
Good morning, Commissioners. Renee Valdez with Public Works. So this is York Street Phase 3. This is from State Highway 224 south to 58th Avenue. And we're here to, this project will entail widening, drainage, sidewalks, curb and gutter, and some structure improvements, both on the Clear Creek structure and potentially the railroad overpass just north of 58th Avenue. And we issued a request for proposals we received 4 proposals, and we're here to recommend EST Incorporated be awarded the contract for professional design services in the amount of $1,705,349, and this amount is within the approved budget. Do you have any questions?
Any questions from the board? Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
A
Second.
motion and a second to approve. That passes 5-0. Okay, next item.
The next item before you is a resolution approving the agreement between Adams County and A1 Chip Seal Company for the 2019 SIL program, and Renee Valdez with our Public Works Department will be presenting this item.
This program entails crack seal, slurry seal, and chip seal. And we do have 7 areas throughout the county that we're going to be visiting. The first area is in the Midtown area, west of Pecos. The other area is between I-76 and 270, east of York. We will also be north of 152nd and west of I-25. And then we will be in just on Quince Street, east of Quebec. We'll also be north of 124th Avenue and on 123rd. We will be in the Todd Creek Farms neighborhood. And we'll also be on 160th Avenue and in Great Rock North. And the last area is east of Ewell, north of US 36. And we're here to recommend award the 2019 Street Seal Program to A1 Chip Seal, as they were the most responsible and responsive bidder in the amount of $794,393.99, and this is within the approved budget.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Chair, I'd like to move a resolution approving the agreement between Adams County and A1 Chip Seal Company for the 2019 seal program.
We have a motion and a second. And that passes 5-0. Okay, next up.
The next item before you is a resolution approving Amendment 2, the agreement between Adams County and Commercial Cleaning Systems for custodial cleaning services. And Kevin Delory from our Facilities and Fleet Department will be presenting this item.
Good morning, Commissioners. A formal request for proposal was solicited in 2017 for custodial cleaning services. On May 9th, 2017, the Board of County Commissioners approved the award to Commercial Cleaning Systems to provide custodial cleaning services in all county buildings except for the Government Center. The Facilities and Fleet Management Department is pleased with the services provided by Commercial Cleaning Systems and recommends renewing the agreement for one additional year. Commercial Cleaning Systems has requested an increase of 5% for the 2019-2020 renewal year. Staff feels this increase is fair and reasonable, as the minimum wage increased approximately 9% in the beginning of 2019 and will increase approximately 8% at the beginning of 2020. The recommendation is to approve Amendment 2 to renew the custodial cleaning services agreement with Commercial Cleaning Systems in the not-to-exceed amount of $1,014,757. This renewal is the second of 4 one-year optional renewals allowed on the contract. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the board? Commissioner Tedesco?
So I know we contract this out, but do you know what the average pay rate for this bid is for our custodial staff?
For the personnel working for CCS, I do not know.
Does anyone know? And then the other question I have is there a requirement in these contracts for benefits, like health insurance and what that is?
Does anybody know for purchasing? That one I do not know either, so I'm not doing too well here, sorry.
We could try to provide that information to you, but we don't have that information at hand this morning for either of those questions.
I think my question is what is it, when we're contracting this stuff out, I know that we have to do the lowest, most responsible bid, right? But it'd be interesting when we're accepting these as to what that comparison is to what we pay our staff and what they're getting paid and what benefits they're receiving and what we're giving. Not that they have to be apples to apples, it's just I really would like to know what we're approving when we sign these contracts.
Okay, it looks like we have
Okay.
some additional help here.
Maybe. Kim Rowland, Purchasing Manager. We're going to have to investigate some of that to get you that information, but as this was an RFP, those were questions we did not particularly ask in the RFP, but if you're wanting us to compare to what our rates are, we can certainly do that, but we've not requested that information from any of those suppliers.
Mr. Chair, I don't want to hold up the vote on this because I don't know that it's something that, we need to put off or we should put off, but I do think in the future that should be something that we take into consideration.
Okay.
And I also would like to know how we would address it, based on the laws that we have to conform to, how would we address it? So, not for this one, but I just was
Sure.
curious and maybe we could address it later on future contracts.
Absolutely.
I'll try to be better prepared next time.
Commissioner Henry? Commissioner Henry?
Thank you, Chair. And, I know we're supposed to do the most responsible bid, but for me, being the most responsible is to make sure that those that are working in our building also have health care and health insurance, affordable health insurance, and pay livable wages. And so I think we should know that kind of information, and I'm not sure if we could require it under like best value, but it definitely would be something that maybe the other commissioners would be interested in having that discussion later.
Okay.
Point of clarification for the county attorney. I believe this is not, this is covered by our best value contracting and not covered by the road contracts that require us to go with the lowest bid, correct?
Correct.
Correct. I'm not aware of any legal requirement that this particular kind of contract has to be lowest bidder.
Right, and
That's
so
right.
if we could get clarification, I believe that if this is truly governed by our best value contracting, that some of the concepts that have been discussed so far are covered through that policy, but that's an assumption based on what I believe I've been told in the past. Maybe we could get clarification on that. Commissioner Pinter has a question or a comment.
Yeah, I just want to concur with my colleagues that just barely meeting the minimum wage is probably not best practices. And so if we could have some more information about the wages and health insurance options and how many part-time versus full-time employees, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Are there any other commissioners? I have a question then. What is the timing necessary on this? Could we, do we have enough flexibility and time for a continuance on this to get more information?
I don't,
When does it, I don't know when it expires. We'll let you know. I'm not sure what the expiration date is on the renewal. I'm sure it's coming up pretty quickly. But we can certainly get you some information as
So we-
soon as possible.
I just want clarification, because I heard two proposals. Commissioner Tedesco said to go ahead and move forward and deal with this in the future, and then you're asking to put it on hold. So I'd like clarification from the full board if possible on this matter.
Okay, my clarification is that I would have no objection to a continuance as long as it doesn't interfere with operations. Commissioner Henry?
I want to continue forward with this. I think we can look at it in the future, but I think we should just go ahead and move forward with the vote.
Commissioner Tedesco? Okay, do we have a motion then?
Chair, I move for a resolution approving Amendment 2 to the agreement between Adams County and Commercial Cleaning Systems for custodial cleaning services.
Looks like we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Commissioner Henry,
You
did
need
you?
to push the button, Commissioner Henry. Okay, it passes 4-1.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next up.
I apologize. The last item before you is a resolution authorizing the use of the Regional Traffic Impact Fee Trust Fund to pay for the York Street Phase 1, York Street Phase 2, York Street Phase 3, East 58th Avenue, Lowell Boulevard, and Pecos Street widening and safety improvement project expenditures. And our Public Works Director, Kristen Sullivan, will be presenting this item.
Good morning, Commissioners. The purpose of this item is to ask for the Board of County Commissioners to approve the use of the Regional Traffic Impact Fee Trust Fund to pay for qualifying projects. The current traffic impact fee study was adopted in 1999. As you are all aware, an update is currently underway but has not been finalized. The authority to impose this impact fee comes from Senate Bill 15 that passed in 2001, which enables local governments to charge impact fees to pay for the impacts of growth after conducting and adopting a study. The current traffic impact fee is designed to pay for capacity improvements to county arterials. We have other revenue sources for roads and highways that are more flexible and can be used for other projects. These include property taxes, the county's transportation sales tax, federal funds that are allocated through the DRCOG TIP process, and the Highway Users Trust Fund distributions. The next slide will go over some of the parameters that we have to work within. These funds in the Traffic Impact Fee Trust Fund must be used on county roadways. They have to be used on facilities or improvements that are required to serve new development. They cannot be used for maintenance or repairs or operating costs. They can be used for adding excess capacity to existing facilities, but they cannot be used to correct existing deficiencies. So some of those other needs that we have can be used through other revenue sources, some of those that I just outlined in the previous slide. So the staff reviewed all of the eligible projects in the capital improvement plan from the 2019 adopted budget. All of the eligible projects in the adopted CIP are recommended, and those are listed here. As you can see, the total cost in all of these projects far exceeds what you might anticipate we're getting in traffic impact fees. The cost here is $24.7 million. On the next slide, you'll see that our current beginning balance at the beginning of 2019 was only $1.9 million in the Traffic Impact Fee Trust Fund. So the cost of the projects exceed the fund balance. As expenditures occur on these projects, the trust fund balance will be reduced. When it's exhausted, we will then go to the Road and Bridge fund balance. So staff recommends approval of the use of the trust fund balance for the eligible projects within the CIP. Take any questions?
Any questions from the board? Commissioner Tedesco.
So as we had heard this in study session, I will be voting no on this. And I want to give a reason why, and that is because I think that it's not spread out well. I know that we're taking care of everything that's on the list, but either by design or intent or whatever it may be, this is all located in one centralized area. And I don't believe that the way that we had gone about this was inclusive of all our areas that are in need. And so I'm voting no, not that I don't believe in all of these projects. It's just the way that it came about where it's all centralized in the one area. And like I said, I don't know whether that's by design or intent, but it's something that we need to look at. And I'm going to be voting no because I don't like this where we put all of our eggs in one basket for one area and not the entire region which we're here to represent, or the entire county. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it passes 4-1. Thank you very much. Any other items for new business?
No other items this morning.
How about from the county attorney?
None this morning, thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute recess to allow staff to set up for the land use hearing. Thanks. All right, I think we're ready. We're going to go ahead and reconvene the public hearing, and now we're entering into the land use portion of the hearing. Feel free to proceed.
Okay. Good morning, the board. My application today is for the Pomponio Terrace filings 3 and 4. The request today by the applicant is for a final development plan approval to allow 114 townhome units on 6.5 acres in a PUD zone that they've established. There are also 3 other requests that are for a major subdivision final plat for filing number 3, which includes 33 lots on approximately 2.15 acres And filing number 4, which includes 81 lots on 4.4 acres and related subdivision improvement agreements that correlate with both of those two filings. So the site for these two filings are located over at Federal, just south of 72nd Avenue, pretty close to Midtown. This is filing 3, and this is filing 4. And the PUD is, the applicant had requested a PUD in the past for the entirety of Pomponio, so this is the zone district for the entirety of Pomponio. It is adjacent to municipality of Westminster, as well as surrounded by other PUDs, some commercial, and some R1C zone districts. The future land use is established as urban residential, which this particular proposal falls in line with. It allows for single and multifamily uses that are greater than 1 acre in density. It is adjacent to transportation services, which fits our urban residential comprehensive billing. So a little bit of the background. Pomponio itself was rezoned from an I-1 zone to a PUD back in 2015. There was a PDP and preliminary plat for filings 1 and 2 that were approved in 2016. This was to allow for single-family detached uses. In 2018, there was a PDP amendment that allowed for townhome units to be established within the entirety of Pomponio. And this is what these two filings are representing. There was a Metro District Service Plan amendment as well in 2018 to kind of cover this particular type of product. So just to go over some of the basics of an FDP or a final development plan, it is the latter of 2 approvals. So the applicant has already come to you with a preliminary development plan, and that was a site-specific development plan that indicated how they were going to be aligning their lots, some of their parking, their landscape, their open space. And then they also came to you with a preliminary plat. This is the final document that establishes that the PDP is truly going to be enforceable from a final development plan network, and that's coming to you today. And it includes the final plat and a subdivision improvement agreement as well. The criteria for the final development plan is that it conforms to the comprehensive plan, that it also conforms to PUD standards. It's consistent with the approved PDP for Pomponio filings 3 and 4, and that the construction plans meet all of the relevant internal and external agency approvals. So this is just an overview of the filing 3, which includes those 33 lots. I just wanted to note a few of the open space recreational pieces that they are providing. They're providing some outdoor table tennis, cornhole courts, some shade structures throughout. It is a very dense product in the sense that it is a townhome development, and it is alley loaded. So there are opportunities for open space throughout the entire project, but they're kind of strewn throughout, and there's adequate connectivity between everything. And then on filing number 4, there are some of the same sorts of things along some of the courtyard areas that they're providing for as well. And there are walks and bike racks throughout the development that they're proposing. And this is the townhome product that they're proposing. They are alley loaded, as stated before. They're on average about 1,500 square feet, and they are 3 to 6 unit buildings in each area. They do provide for 2 standard parking spaces within each garage as well. So just a little more criteria about a final plat and how you, what the requisite approval criteria is for that, is that it does conform to the preliminary plat, and that it conforms to our overall subdivision design standards, that the applicant has demonstrated adequate water supply and public sewage, and that they are identifying any topographical conditions, as well as addressing adequate drainage improvements and the public infrastructure and collateral. And the applicant has done this. That is part of the subdivision improvement agreement criteria that we need from the applicant in order to get the application to you today. So this is just a little demonstration of what the plat of each of these lots, the townhome lots, in filing number 3, which is 33 lots on 2.15 acres. And these tracks are the alleyways and some of the open space as well. And then this is filing number 4, which is the larger filing with these townhome units, anywhere from 3 to 6 townhome units, along with the courtyard kind of tract and the alleyway tracks. And just to go over the criteria that we find sufficient from a staff perspective is that the SIAs are needing to be signed and executed in order for us to come to you, that the rear loaded garages are on alleyways, and we find that sufficient, that the lots front on public streets and are landscape tracts, and that there is adequate public infrastructure to support the development. And we also find that the final plats are going to be allowing this type of phasing of public improvements, which is viable. We did make a referral to all of our external and internal agencies, and Excel, CDOT, Tri-County, and the Geologic Society did not have any form of concern. The Colorado Division of Water did request that Crestview Water and Sanitation District, which is the water provider, provide a letter of sufficiency, and the applicant did provide that letter. So it's satisfying the Colorado Division of Water. Development Services Engineering has reviewed and approved all of the drainage plans and the final construction documents. And the application was sent out to 89 abutting property owners and occupants within the area of 750 feet. We did only receive one comment, and that was a comment of approval. So staff recommends approval of the Pomponio filings number 3 and 4 with their FDP, final plats, and SIAs, and this is based on 11 findings of fact. And that ends my presentation, and I'm available for any questions. Thanks.
Are there any questions for staff from the board? All right, seeing none, would the applicant like to come forward, please?
Hello, Commissioners. I'm James Merlino, 1140 US Highway 287 in Broomfield. I am the manager of Pomponio Terrace Holdings and would like to thank Libby Tart for her excellent presentation and the staff work throughout during this process that began, I guess, in 2015. I think Libby's presentation covered most of the issues before you. I am here to answer your questions, so if you have any questions or have questions as you deliberate, I'm here.
Any questions from the board? Commissioner Tedesco.
Oh, yeah, I have questions for you.
Yes.
So my only real questions are, this is a property that's needed in an area that hasn't been fully utilized, and I appreciate all the work you're doing. And what I want to know is, what's the time frame for full build out? And on top of that, also, what is the plans for the adjoining area, like with the large warehousing building next door? The, what is it? I forget the name of it.
The one that's immediately to the south?
Yes.
That's Goodwill Industries headquarters building, and they also run some programs out of that. I actually have been trading calls with them recently to get an update on that. I'm not sure. That property is in the city of Westminster. So if you like, I can just, when I reach out to them, I can give you information. But at this point, I'm not sure.
Just was curious, and I was curious as to a time frame with all of this planning that we're doing and with the, you know, if we were to approve this today, what is the estimated time frame for full build-out?
Well, actually, we have people here from the builder, Cardell, Rod Mickleberry, who I've had the pleasure of working with on this for the past few years. Rod, do you have an answer for that?
Please feel free to come down and state your name and address for the record.
Rod Mickleberry. I live at 24550 East Park Crescent Place in Aurora, Colorado. And we think the build on this would probably be closing the last units in about 3 years, 2.5 or 3 years is our understanding. It'll take a handful of months to develop the property, and we don't think it'll take that long to probably sell the units. So about 2.5 or 3 years.
Thank you. Any other questions from commissioners? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. If you could have a seat, at this time, we're going to open the
Thank you.
forum up for, is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment or have a question on this particular case? All right, seeing none, we're going to bring it back to the board for discussion and/or motion. Looks like somebody's clicked motion in a second. So who made the motion?
I did.
All right, Commissioner Tedesco, what's your motion?
Motion is to approve PRC 2018-000002, Pomponio filings 3 and 4, FDP, final plats, and SIAs, based on 11 findings of fact.
Second.
We have a second. Okay, it passes unanimously, 5-0. Congratulations and good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else from county manager, county attorney? Nope. All right, we're adjourned.